I would like, if I may, to take you on a strange journey.
Welcome to 9sense. 9sense is a satanic perspective of our modern world, and I'm your host, Adam Campbell. It is great to have you. It is December 13th, and I've got a great show for you this week, as per usual. Well, most of the time anyway. Before I start this show, I just want to let you guys know I am doing a 9sense horrific holiday special, and I have some very special guests attending and contributing to that, along with contributors of the show, regular contributors to the show. I hope you guys tune into it. I hope you have some fun. That's the entire point of these holiday specials, and really any of the specials that divert from the traditional format of the show, like today's episode, for example. I just got back from watching Krampus with some friends, and that was an interesting movie. I expected it to be a little more horror and a little less camp, but it is very much sort of goofy camp, which I guess worked out okay. I was a little disappointed in how Krampus looked, and the ending I thought was terrible, but everything up to that point I thought was really good. So if you haven't seen it yet, maybe check it out. Maybe wait till Redbox before you check it out. But interesting show. It's weird because it awakens a lot of different thoughts of my own. I grew up in a religious household, and Christmas was very much a religious endeavor. It was not just get family together and celebrate. In fact, we never celebrated with any family except for our immediate family, meaning brothers, sisters, mom, and dad. So this idea of having multiple generations and brother and sister families in one house while you celebrate is very foreign to me. Though on paper, I like the idea. With my family, I don't think I would ever like it really, but on paper, it seems like a good idea. Anyway, it was a nice balance. If you watch Home Alone and then you watch Krampus, I think it's a good back and forth between the two of them. Both are a little bit goofy, both are a little bit heartwarming in moments, and they're both fun for what they are. So check that out if you have a chance. Let's run down what we have on the show today. Because I went and saw this, I don't have Erin as my regular co-host, but we do have her giving us a Down to the Crossroads a little bit later here. So we're going to start with 9sense letter, and this is a letter about happiness that one of you listeners sent in. First of all, let me just say thank you so much for not only consuming the content that we provide for you on a weekly basis, but then reaching out in some way. Some people do it per rating or review on different websites. Some of you actually write in and ask us questions, and that's amazing. And we really, truly appreciate that you would even consider our opinions worthwhile. I'm going to try to do my best by this individual. Do a little bit of something different with Other Height, of course, episode 21. And then immediately after, Down to the Crossroads, episode 39. And this is How I Hate to See Christmas Come Around. Now, just by nature of the way I recorded this episode, I've already actually put that together, and it's a good one. So stay tuned for that. And I'm going to close this episode down with a creature feature. I haven't done one of these in a while, but this is a really good one as well. David Ingram of Down Among the Dead Men. I spoke with him about his newest album. You're going to want to tune in for that. It's a great one. We talk some really great... First of all, let me just say, David's an amazing individual. Not only is he's an insanely talented musician, he's a really great radio personality, and he's just a solid man. He's a cool dude. He's one of those guys that you would love to have a beer with, and that whether or not you saw eye to eye on any issue, you would have a great back and forth, a healthy, good back and forth. And he's got comedic chops, this man, even though I don't know that outside of his radio show he stretches them very often. But great person to talk to, and this is a really great interview about his newest release. So stay tuned for that at the end. Let's go ahead and just dive right into this episode. No mincing words here. 9sense Letters is next.
Though I am an active member, I do not speak for the Church of Satan.
I will do my best not to break the second rule of the earth in this letter, but I do feel the need to clarify a bit about my position. I am 17 and therefore am not a part of the Church of Satan, and in general, I am quite new to the philosophy. Satanism, as far as I can gather, is very Epicurean. It pursues indulgence and enjoyment more than anything else, and I greatly respect that those can be different for each individual. But I notice people around me, the sheep, that are much happier than I am. Society obviously caters to the masses and serves them best it can. It creates facets for their happiness, and those on the outside often end up feeling empty or depressed because of this. Satanism definitely fills that void in a sense that it gives reason to why we feel different and why that is okay. But I still have to ask, if Satanism is about the pursuit of happiness, wouldn't the best answer be to become part of the herd? In general, they seem quite at ease with a lot and understand the societal vices for relaxation. Again, I'm young and probably stupid, and though this process definitely takes root in a bit of depression. I agree with the Satanic Bible and LaVey, and I've always felt different, but I'm just not happy. Is it the most satanic route to actually give up on my classical music and solitary exercise for rap music and basketball to forsake my books and podcasts in the name of reality TV? Thank you for all the great conversation material you have provided with me, or me with. All right, so let me address this right off the bat. Happiness is entirely dependent upon you as a human being. It has nothing to do with your religion, with your political leanings, or anything else. Whether you are happy or not is completely on you. We have very limited lifespans, and though they have doubled in the last 100 and some odd years, they are still incredibly limited. If we don't take the little happinesses that we stumble across in life, the world doesn't owe you anything, so you're not going to be happy if you don't take control of those moments, if you don't own your own life. So I don't know that this has anything to do with whether you're too young or whether you're too old or whether you're a Satanist for a little bit of time or a Satanist for a long bit of time. You own your own happiness, or you don't. That being said, the world does cater to the masses. Society, the greater population, because we live in a commercial world and the greatest target audience is the greater masses at large. But that's not to say that us Satanists can't find joy in portions of what could be considered herd-like activity. There's no reason that you can't like modern music or modern television or anything if you're a Satanist. Again, it's entirely up to your perspectives. I mean, if you enjoy music, listen to it. If you don't. I don't find happiness in forsaking things. I find happiness in indulging in things. And what I have noticed is the older I get, the more I'm willing to give other types of music, other types of food, other types of media an opportunity to entertain me, and more often than not, whether it's honest on that media's part or not, I find enjoyment in it because I was willing to give it a shot. Now, this is not going to follow suit to everything, but I get a sense just from your letter, okay? So obviously it's very short. It doesn't paint a picture of who you are. I get a sense that you feel like Satanists are a certain way and do things a certain way. And nothing could be further from the truth. Every single one of us is dramatically different. We don't all get along. We don't all see things the same way. We don't all even enjoy the same types of art, music, literature, anything. So there is some overlap in a lot of people. You're going to find that in any size group. There's going to be a little bit of overlap. But there's no such thing as a Satanist does this or a Satanist likes this. It is entirely incumbent upon these Satanists to find joy in life, to find happiness in life. You mentioned that Satanism is about the pursuit of happiness. I don't think that's true. I don't think that's true at all. Depending on the individual, happiness can be a negative. Some people like to stay in a perpetual state of misery. That is who and what they are. Some people like to be indifferent and have small moments of happiness that they can really latch on to and keep as powerful examples of happiness. And some people just like to be happy all the time. As is with every Satanist, the idea of pursuing happiness is really incumbent upon you as the individual. It's going to be hard because, again, you admit it yourself, you are young. And very few young people really know who and what they are at that young age. The reality is, your brain's not fully developed, so how could you expect to know everything about yourself yet? It's going to be a number of years before you even truly understand the greater scope of society, of who you are, of who your family is, of what you want out of life, and you have a long life ahead of you to figure it out. So there's no rush. The point is, enjoy who and what you are. Satanism is not about the pursuit of happiness. It is about the pursuit of you, the individual Satanist. Now, if that happens to be down a path of happiness, by all means. If it happens to be down a path of self-destruction, well, I can't really help you there, but I'm sure there's some people that really enjoy that part of themselves. We like to take joy, collectively as Satanists, in whatever brings us pleasure. Pleasure equates with happiness in small moments. But above and beyond anything else, it is the development of oneself. That is what you should be focusing on, not this perpetual state of giggly, happy goofiness. Accomplishment is what drives happiness for me, and certainly for many other Satanists. Set goals and achieve those goals. That will bring you happiness. But just staying in a basement and listening to classical music and shunning the greater world at large, well, that's probably not going to make you happy. And you know what? Not a lot of Satanists do that. In fact, I don't know any Satanists that do that. Even the most fervent misanthrope gets out there and enjoys the public from time to time. Certainly the ones I've met anyway. Happiness is completely relative. Satanism and how a Satanist uses it in their own life is completely relative to that individual Satanist. We share a philosophy, a common philosophy, but that's it. Outside of that, you're on your own. You do what you need to do. If happiness for you is watching reruns of I Love Lucy your entire life, by all means, I think it's a hollow life, even though I do really like that show. But that's on you. It is entirely, again, I've said this like 8 times now, it is entirely incumbent upon you, not Satanism, to provide happiness in your life, if that's what you want. Now, you already mentioned that you suffer from a bit of depression, as you say it. Depression's no joke, man. Not at all. And it's something that, if you allow it, will take control of your life. Now, you don't have a choice in this. This is something that is out of your control, that you are predisposed to being depressed. But there are exercises that you can engage in, physical activity that will increase dopamine and help fight off depression. There are medical avenues that you can take to help fight off depression. But don't just wallow and expect identifying as a Satanist to somehow be some gateway to happiness. It's going to be harder for you because you are prone to depression to find any sense of happiness. And the reality is you may never find what you think other people have. But let me close with this thought. No one ever is always happy. No one. In fact, the more accomplished you are, the stronger you are as an individual, the more perspective you have, the harder it is to be happy. Because you see other angles of life. As a Satanist, you see that third side, and it's not always a good one, and life is fucking hard, and life takes work. Success does not come to you. No one owes you anything. You have to fight for it. You have to earn it, and you have to hang on to it when you have it. It's never easy, but that's life. Satanism provides tools to help along that path. Whatever that path is for you, whether it's a pursuit of happiness, whether it's a pursuit of a profession, whether it's a woman, whether it's a moment to enjoy, Satan provides you with the tools to do so. But it is incumbent upon you to do it. I hope you do. I do. I don't know you, but it sounds like you got a good head on your shoulders. And if you're a Satanist, it's going to be hard for you. It will never be easy for you. But you never have to let people know who and what you are. Lesser magic is all about being what people expect you to be. And if that gets you what you want, utilize it. Be a Satanist. Use lesser magic. You don't have to stand out and say, I'm a Satanist, I'm an outcast, I'm going to live alone, I'm never going to find happiness. That's not Satanism. That's not reality. That's not how it works. Do what you have to do to get the little bit of life that you have and enjoy it for as long as you can. Because that's it. This is all we've got, man. It's never going to get easier. Stay vigilant. Good luck. Read the Satanic Bible. If you have friends or family to rely on for some support if you need it, if you need to get into therapy for your depression, there's no shame in it. Do what you have to do to be the most powerful Satanist that you can be. It's not a contest. There's no one judging you. It's all about you. You own your life. Be your own God and own it. Good luck, man.
Hey there, doll. Why don't you be a good girl and take a few clams and run on down over to High Satanist and pick us up a couple of those sterling silver Baphomets everyone's been buzzing about. I hear that the bee's knees. And while you're at it, go ahead and take a gander at those LED wall plaques. From what I hear, that guy over there is hitting on all sixes. A real nifty fellow he is. Listen here, don't go over to those sappy ragamuffin knockoffs. I'm with the real McCoy, you got me? So do the right thing, and now you're on the trolley, you hear? Remember, High Satanist. That's High Satanist, I say. They're on the up and up. Now scram. Get a wiggle on, kid. You bother me.
Such a stupid asshole. This California dew was just a little heavier than usual tonight.
Really? From where I stand, the sun is shining all over the place. I'm singing in the rain, just singing in the rain. What a glorious feeling, I'm happy again. I'm laughing at clouds so dark up above. And the sun's in my heart and I'm ready for love. Let the stormy clouds chase everyone from the place. Come on with the rain, I've a smile on my face. I walk down the lane with a happy refrain.
Hello, and welcome to another segment of Something Different with Heather Height on 9sense. I have nothing written down, no notes, just thoughts this week because I've just had a crazy week because I work in retail and it's almost Christmas. And we went to a flea market today that had like taxidermy stuff and it was really fun, but there was an 1.5 hour line. Have you ever heard of an 1.5 hour line for a flea market? Well, now you have. And my dog is going crazy, so you're just going to have to bear with me. And my flibberty-gibbetness. So this week I wanted to talk about transcendence, which seems like the opposite of being satanic to a lot of people. But I don't know. Like when I was 6 or 7 years old, my mother, who was constantly trying out different spiritual practices or whatever, took me to the Church of Transcendental Meditation. I still have the receipt somewhere. I paid for my word, which is the word that you use to focus your being or whatever. I paid for it with a jar of pennies. That's like what it says on the receipt, 1 jar of pennies. And the guy did this ritual. We had to bring fruit, a bowl of fruit, and the jar of pennies. And he did this thing with water and some kind of chanting, and he sprinkled the water over the fruit. And as you could see or hear, when I was 6 or 7, I really did not absorb a lot of information about transcendental meditation from this experience. And then he didn't want me to sit and chant my word. I had to say it in my mind as I walked. And I remember the church was actually in like a church, so it had a room with pews in it that I don't think they ever used. And he had me walking like up and down the pews and thinking my word in my head, and it was my super secret word that I was never allowed to tell anybody. And so I don't know if it did me any good. It was interesting, but anyway, you're supposed to reach a level of transcendence, and by transcendence, like to transcend, to get the fuck over shit, not be bothered. You're better than that. And that's where Satanism comes in. I have met more, I guess you would say, naturally transcendent people, or had experienced transcendence from more people who were members of the COS than anyone else ever in my life. And like you'd think, I've known Buddhists, and I've known, like the whole Reiki group that are supposed to be so, high and mighty. There's just some of the most insecure people I've ever met in my life, and not transcendent whatsoever. Actually, really bitchy and judgmental. I think that the reason that there are more Satanists that I've met who are transcendent is because transcendence isn't really about being understanding or having a sense of altruism. I think it's about being a little bit, your shit don't stink kind of attitude. So when something happens to you, it kind of rolls off you a little easier because you're better. And I would even dare say that Gandhi himself, like we've already, I don't know if I've established it here, but I've established in many conversations that there's no such thing as altruism. You can't tell me that Gandhi didn't get anything out of what he was doing. He wasn't just doing that. If he were transcendent, there would be no movie about Gandhi. There would be no news reports about Gandhi. It was for his people and for his country and for himself. Maybe I'm missing something about altruism. So I don't think that's what transcending has to do with. And I don't think it has to do with pretending that you don't care about things that piss you off or matter to you. I find, and if you follow my husband, Magister Harris, on Facebook, you would not think that I'm telling you the truth right now. I find him very transcendent. And it seems ridiculous because all he does is bitch on Facebook. But in his everyday interactions, there are things that just roll off of him like nothing. And it doesn't come from this altruistic, loving other humans kind of place. It comes from it doesn't matter to me because I know I'm better kind of place. That is what I think real transcendence is. Just as an example of what I'm talking about, when Buddhist monks talk about being one with everything and transcending, they are coming from a place of all knowing. when you're all-knowing, you're probably an arrogant asshole. How could you be all-knowing? There's like that legend about baby camels. Why do baby camels look so proud? And it's because they know the 100th name of God. They're transcendent of all of our bullshit because they're arrogant little fucks who have this piece of information. That's what's really going on. That's nothing splendid or pure about it. It's human arrogance that is really the key to transcendence, not focusing on some word and marching around a bunch of pews or sitting and meditating, although I totally back meditation. I think it's a good practice to have. I think it's good to have that kind of quiet, and I think it's important. But I don't think you're going to find transcendence per se in that practice. It's good to be able to quiet your mind. Not that I'm good at quieting my mind. So that's what I'm saying. This is the key to transcendence. If you're looking to let shit roll off your back and let things go and be more relaxed and not be flipping out over every little thing, not only can you learn to transcend and learn to not let shit bother you, which isn't good for you, like physically or mentally anyway. Why should you bother with it? Not only can you learn to transcend and still be misanthropic and nihilistic, but I think it's necessary. This has been another segment of Something Different with Heather Height on 9sense. Follow me on Facebook, email me, Gmail, Yahoo. I'm Heather Height all over the internet, including Twitter. Drop me a line. Let me know what you think. See you next week. Hail Satan.
Dancing and singing in the rain.
Ever had a question about religion but couldn't find the answer? Are you interested or skeptical about cults, magic, or ritual? My name is Witch Zaftig. I'm a scholar of religion and a witch in the Church of Satan. Allow me to research your questions and answer them on my 9sense segment, Unorthodoxy with Witch Zaftig. I can address anything from Scientology to aliens, Moonies to ritual magic, even the Eucharist, and of course, all things satanic. Send your questions to zaftigworks@gmail.com and tune in every month to Unorthodoxy with Witch Zaftig, only on 9sensepodcast.com.
Standing in the back door crying.
Alright, there you will. Sure you want to stay out in this blackout? Sure is dark tonight. Thank you for the ride, sir. I think I'll be fine. Suit yourself.
What are you doing out here?
Oh, I'm headed down to the
Crossroads.
Wait, miss. You can't be. You're the
Devil?
But you're beautiful.
Just sign here.
Oh my God.
Hey everybody, it's your good pal Aaron, and this is Down to the Crossroads.
Hell yes.
So guess what my theme is this month?
St. Patrick's Day.
Close. Arbor Day.
Oh.
Yeah. No, it's Christmas.
Oh, that's brilliant. I mean, it's topical.
Very clever. I think outside the box.
That's why you are such a success.
Such a huge success in life. In every way. You're right.
All right, that ended up sounding a lot meaner than I meant it to sound.
No. I think I took it exactly as it was intended to be taken.
So Christmas. So this is Christmas?
That's right. And this episode is called "How I Hate to See Christmas Come Around," and it's a little bit of a downer, but
Just
I think that's what this is all about. Yeah. So shall we jump right into it? Oh, everybody wants to follow along, I'm sure.
Yes.
So find the Spotify playlist on Down to the Crossroads Facebook page. I will probably tweet it out too. I'm on Twitter at ChelseaGirl19. So follow along, because otherwise it's pretty lame, I think. I mean,
it's not.
Oh, okay, cool. So don't follow along, or follow along later, or whatever.
Follow along, but not because it's lame otherwise. Just because it's more entertaining.
It's less lame when you listen to this. So here we go. Let's jump right in. I'm going to hit play, and we are going to listen to Ralph Willis do his Christmas blues.
Ooh.
Yes, and it's already out of the gate, just ready to go. Great guitar work right there. That little hook he's got.
I'm not familiar with Ralph Willis.
Oh, well, get familiar.
Get ready.
Get ready to get familiar. He did a lot of songs. He had about 50 tracks on a bunch of different labels, but he's kind of not very well known, but he is pretty influential. Otherwise, we wouldn't still be listening to him, I guess. But this was recorded in 1948, and I guess he recorded after this for just a few more years, maybe 5 more years. So this is sort of right in the middle of his career. I think he started recording in 44, and he didn't have a very long career, but he did have a very, as I said, huge catalog. He's got 50 tracks, and so this is right in the middle. And later on, you can sort of hear where he's going with this. His guitar style gets a little more like exciting and booming, kind of like Lightning Hopkins after a while, like that booming, like just almost percussive guitar in there. But this is, he starts, he tears it up on the guitar.
I really like the vocals though. It's like he's singing to like a sort of staticky mic or something. It just creates a really nice effect. Yeah,
it's cool. He's he's a funny character, but I mean, this show, I gotta say, this show is full of ridiculous characters. Like, they get even like weirder as they go along, ending with the last song I'm going to play. I'm going to tell you about this guy who's just bananas out of his mind. But this guy was just sort of your average everyday sort of crank, where he, I mean, I don't know if I want to characterize him that way, but he did play a bunch of different musical styles, but he really didn't care much for like the folk blues or kind of R&B, which is just where blues music was going at the time. So he was kind of like a purist, even though this is really kind of progressive blues. This isn't the Delta blues that I normally play. Right. But he was just kind of like, nope, this is it. This is as exciting as I want blues to get. But he did some recording with Brownie McGee and Sonny Terry, who I think I've played on this show before. They were like a guitar harmonica duo, and he did some recordings with them. But yeah, so that was nice. Ralph Willis. Yeah, it was nice, wasn't it? Are you excited about Christmas or what? Are you as excited as I am?
I've known you for a number of years now, and I still can never tell if you're being serious or not.
I love Christmas. Who doesn't love Christmas?
I like to live vicariously through Christmas. I hate the giving and getting of gifts. I don't know what it is. Like, okay, so do you mind if I give you a tiny little story real quick?
Please do.
So last night was my family's Christmas party. They do it every single year, and I've never attended. My mom gave me this sort of third degree the other day, and I realized that I was, kind of making her life a little bit miserable, because she insists on seeing me during the holidays. So if I don't show up to this Christmas party, she will do two events, just so that she does one with me and then one with everyone else, because she just wants to see me. She's willing to jump through those hoops, those hoops set on fire. And so I sort of just thought, I'm being a dick, and maybe I should just bite the bullet for one fucking day and just go to one of these stupid Christmas parties and just get it over with. And it was the worst thing ever I've ever done. And now I remember why I never never had to do these. Like carols, and everyone was super cheery and happy and like giving away presents to each other. And I was just like, fuck, I hate this so much. I hate it so much.
Sounds like so much fun.
Like,
what do you hate about it? Like, it's sort of everything that's supposed to make people happy is like being with family and singing and
yeah, but my family's all Mormons, and so they take the super spiritual bent on everything.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And it's really painful. It's really painful. And everyone is so like artificially happy. At least that's how it seems. That's how it comes off, like desperately artificially happy.
Like this is our one time of the year to be joyful and thankful.
And even if we feel like shit, we're gonna be happy. God damn it, you know.
God damn it.
It was all made okay because my sister's husband is sort of just like me in our sense of humor and how we like to goof around. And so every once in a while I'd, make a comment about date rape or, Santa being a fag or just something that's fun for me to see reactions in other people. And
like, can I just recap what is fun for you? Yeah. And that's date rape and Santa being just so the folks know where we're at.
We're just keeping tabs. Let's keep it on the scoreboard. Adam, this makes Adam happy. No, but seeing their reactions whenever I say something like stupid like that, it kind of makes it okay for me for that little moment. And he and I proposed to him in a way. I was like, would you please sing Baby It's Cold Outside with me, please? Oh, and he was like, only if I can hold your hand and look longingly in your eyes. And it was this greatest moment because everyone else was like, like the Mormon church just went through this whole thing about like ignoring gay people, like shunning them. And like kids couldn't even be in the church if their parents were gay. I mean, it was this whole, unless they like ostracized their own family, this whole big to do. And so, me and him doing that, they were just like all, what is happening? Is he really gay? And I announced that me and my wife were getting a divorce after 18 years and I was going to marry, his name's Jeremy. So I was going to marry Jeremy instead. And they were just like, oh, but he played it up. It was so cool. He just went along with the whole thing.
He sounds like fun, man.
He's good people. He doesn't drink anymore, which sucks.
Oh, bummer. I hate when people do that.
Hating on drinkers. They're the worst.
I don't know how they ever have any fun ever.
They ruin every party with their non-drinking. It's the worst. But anyway, so yeah, I don't really look forward to Christmas because of that, but I do love seeing my kids and, open presents and have that magical experience of this time of year. So that's nice. Do you and Josh do it up?
Oh, well, we go visit his family in Georgia, and yeah, we do it's pretty traditional, just, what you think of when you think of like atheists celebrating Christmas, because there's no God, there's nothing. His stepdad is Jewish, but there's no Hanukkah. It's totally non-denominational, which is great, obviously, is how I prefer it. I wouldn't know how to act with a religious Christmas type thing because my family, as you know, it was not religious and his family's not, and so I guess that's the difference. Maybe you'd have more fun if you partied with us on Christmas. I'm totally
crashing your Christmas.
You should come to Georgia, man. It's a really good time.
It's gonna be awesome. You're gonna be like, Adam, what? I thought you were a kid. Get the shotgun. Let's do this next one.
Yeah, man. This one is for you then, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we'll hit play right now. This is Jimmy Witherspoon, and he's singing Adam's Christmas anthem, How I Hate to See Christmas Come Around. And this is some great, speaking of drinking.
Horns.
Yeah, this is some boozy horns on this one. It's sort of a jump blues song, I've played some jump blues before, but the difference is it came sort of evolved from big band, so you get the horns, and this is I'm glad you like it. Yeah, so this is the precursor to rock and roll and R&B, everything. This is the sort of in between, but it's got those horns you noticed immediately. And it's got great guitar and stuff like that, and it's up tempo, and it's usually small groups playing. But yeah, this is Jimmy Witherspoon. He's got a great voice. And he started actually singing. I think he was discovered while singing, he was serving as a merchant marine in World War II. And he used to be the singer for probably a jazzy, bluesy, this kind of music-y band that used to play over the Armed Forces radio services. And when he was stationed in Calcutta, India, he was singing these songs and going out over the Armed Forces radio service. They were listening to this. So, but he sort of led a few bands and then started his own recording career in 1947. And this song, I think, is from right sort of early at the beginning, maybe in the 50s.
It's good.
But yeah, man, he's got this great shout to his voice. But this song is just one of the most sort of abject of all the Christmas blues songs that are out there. There's a lot of, you'd be surprised actually that, thank goodness, there's a bunch of Christmas blues songs, people just lamenting Christmas. But this is probably one of the saddest, where he's just like, the holidays are just tough. I mean, I think you should probably really relate to this song, because he says something like, it's really a beautiful sight, but it always makes me sad. Like, it's just,
yeah.
But mostly his problem is that, he's poor. So instead of going shopping, he's like spending his days trying to get a loan or trying to pawn his radio just to, buy some gifts or something. And he said, doesn't have any food to eat. He says no chicken, no turkey, no cranberries, no stocking, no Christmas trees. It's just, everything sucks when you're poor and disenfranchised. And it's great. The horns just sort of are almost like mocking him in this, where they're just sort of wailing, like you can almost see the horns just like rolling their eyes, anthropomorphized, and just rolling their eyes like, we get it.
It's like that drunken shine.
Yeah.
Oh God, so good.
Mm-hmm. So he lived a good long life, this Jimmy Witherspoon. He did some DJing in LA, and then even recorded with Eric Burdon of the Animals, if you remember the Animals at all. But he had a really long career, and then he died of throat cancer at 77. But he had a good long life.
Yeah, well, I love that we were able to capture, that type of music. Can you imagine living just 100 years earlier and like how many wonderful voices we just lost to time because technology didn't exist? So that's
absolutely,
that's kind of the cool part of it. Are you okay with the surprise gift giving by friends?
Oh, well, I mean, yes, I love presents, so I'll take them in any form. But then there is that sort of like, oh, shit, well, I didn't know it was going to be that kind of party. I would have,
I hate that so much. I just got back from a movie with some friends, and they told me that they apologized that they forgot to bring a present that they got, and immediately I was just like, okay, well, I can still be friends with you then because you didn't give it to me. Like, there's nothing more I hate than unannounced gift giving. Like, you need to let me know so I can feel good about getting you something in return. But if you just give me something and then just be like, we're good. No, we're not good. I hate you so much right now. Like, I can't handle it. I have to reciprocate, or else I feel like a charity case. And I hate that feeling more than anything. I've always stood on my own. I don't want to fucking start receiving gifts unannounced. It's the worst. I just hate it so much.
Some serious hang-ups out of
I don't mind presents. I just want to be able to give one back to you, so I feel like it's reciprocal. I don't know.
Give one later. It's even more exciting then. Be like,
well, no, because then they're like, oh, you only did this because I gave you one, Well,
yeah. So let them feel that way.
Maybe I do have real hang-ups.
You definitely do. It's really okay. It's okay to enjoy Christmas, Adam. I want you to say those words back to me. It's okay to enjoy Christmas.
I don't know. I can't do that. It's okay.
Go on.
Okay, what was the line again?
It's okay to enjoy Christmas.
It's okay to enjoy Christmas.
Yeah, see? That was easy.
It's okay to enjoy Christmas. It's okay
to enjoy Christmas. It's okay.
My mantra through the season. Okay.
It's okay.
Well, I'm going to say that to myself, and let's tune into this next song here.
All right, let's do this. So this is...
enjoy Christmas.
There you go. All right, hit play. We're listening to Angels in Harlem, and this is Peter Joe Clayton, and he's going to just knock your socks on their asses, because he's not only like, he's got this crazy frenzied voice. Like, he's just this rowdy guy, but he was also pretty like crazy, as I alluded to earlier. So this poor guy, man, he had this family. He had a wife and 4 kids, I guess, and one day there was a house fire and it killed his entire family. Whoa. And so after that, he was never really quite the same again. Like, he was just this weird, like, odd figure, sort of sleeping on pool tables and and in hallways wherever he could find a place to nap. But he was always like wearing these comically large and ridiculous hats and these gigantic, like oversized eyeglasses, but that they had no glass in them. So he just looked like this kind of a clown, like a kind of a lunatic. But he then had this like amazing voice, and he was hugely influential. He influenced Jimmy Witherspoon, who I just played, and he's also influenced, no doubt, he influenced Screaming Jay Hawkins and Little Richard probably, and he was also a big influence on B.B. King, like his style of singing and playing. But this song is so funny to me. It's got a very barrel house blues sound, you know, there's guitars, piano, and he's just sort of screaming. And but the thing is, on this, like, he's not playing the piano, and almost all of his recordings, I guess, he recorded, I don't know, a bunch of songs, maybe not like 50 like the first guy we talked about, but he had a pretty good career, maybe around 30 songs or so. But he never played instrument on it. He was just a singer, which is kind of strange for a bluesman in that era. But he could play the piano. He could play the piano and the ukulele, but he just didn't do it on record.
Damn.
Yeah, but he's a huge, like I said, a huge influence.
So do you think that's because there weren't a lot of other people doing it and recording at the time, or is it something signature about him?
Probably a little bit of both, but his voice, no one was doing what he was doing at the time, just sort of screaming and carrying on almost, you know.
I do love I don't know why I do, but I really love that sort of random chatter between verses.
I like that too.
Just like random stuff.
Interstitial conversation. Yeah. There's something exciting about it. But he just had a great scream. He had a great shout to him. And that's kind of very loosely a Christmas song, but you know.
Yeah, he's using vibrato a lot more in the end than he did at the beginning.
Yeah. He got a little, tipsy.
He just had to let it out.
That was his thing, though. After his family was killed, he really hit the drinking hard, and he eventually died of alcoholism. But he just, just one of those like typical sort of fuck it and just drinking and reckless behavior, and until he died, like just gave up on shit. It was like, fuck it, I'm gonna have a good time, which is what you should do, Adam, this Christmas.
It's okay to enjoy Christmas.
Okay to enjoy Christmas. There you go.
I got it. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try for you.
Thank you.
I wish I was closer to friends like you, so that I could have a better experience during Christmas.
Yeah.
It's only because, like, honestly, like, that's the only thing for me that makes Thanksgiving really awesome, because it's great hanging out with your immediate family, your wife and your kids, in my case. But it's always nice to have like a friend there too, or someone else to sort of play off of.
Right.
I'm a huge fan of back and forth and improv, just conversations, just nonsensical type stuff. To have someone that can do that is just amazing. These sort of episodes that we do from time to time, once a month when we can, it's little things like that make it really, really fun. So you can just sort of kind of go off on tangents and stuff. So it's nice. And, Christmas is always one of those holidays where you never get everyone's so tight with their family unit that, like, all my friends around here, there's no possible way that any of them would ever consider coming over to my place for a Christmas dinner or something like that, So.
You should go to like a Home Depot and pick up a Mexican guy and just pay him $20 for the day just to hang out.
I need someone who is well versed in improv. Please, can you improv? All right, come on, $20 now. Come on.
I bet he could riff.
It's all in Spanish too, so I have no fucking idea what he's saying.
You just pretend you hear what he's saying. I understand what he's saying.
Maybe I should do that. I feel like that's racist, but I think I'll
No.
Just hire a Mexican for the day for Christmas.
Well, they don't have to be Mexican, I guess. Have you
ever seen any other ethnicity out there?
I've never seen anybody do that, actually.
Really?
I've only heard stories. I don't go to Home Depot, first of all. That's, probably first and last.
Driving by one ever?
No, I've never seen people looking for work outside of Home Depot. I've only heard of this myth.
Oh, it's a real thing. Oh my gosh.
Cool.
It's I have like 3 Home Depots in a 50-mile radius of me that I have frequented from time to time. Every single time, no matter the day, no matter the time of day, there are always like Latin men standing around every single time. And they always look at you reluctantly because it's always near like a stoplight, like as you know, you're trying to turn onto the main street or something. And they just look at you expectantly, like, are you going to turn to me and look and ask? I'm ready. I'm ready. It's so
That's horrible.
It's the only worst thing are the homeless people begging for money. That's the only thing worse.
I thought Utah took care of their homeless problem.
Yeah, no. I saw that in the news as well. I saw like an NPR piece on it, or I heard an NPR piece. Certainly, I'm sure there's a small percentage, and I don't know if they're going off of large numbers or success on this one program, but no, we still have a shit ton of people posing at least as homeless.
I bet we have more though.
I do. I believe that you do. Absolutely. Baltimore has got to.
I guarantee. We probably have more in our in a square mile radius around us than you have in the entire state of Utah.
Yeah. Have you ever done anything like feed the homeless for a holiday thing?
No.
Have you ever done reach out?
No.
So
no, I give money to. I've given money. I won't say I do it on a regular basis, but I have given money to like homeless shelters before because I refuse to give people money on the street. Because that's obviously not how you solve that problem. But but yeah, I've given money to like soup kitchen type places just because. Yeah. Because I think some people actually need help, but not the people that like Josh screams at on the street. Tells them he hopes they die in the street. They get really aggressive around here, man. And like you try to be nice and they start their spiel and like the other day we were just walking. There's this one spot where they always hang out and some guy was like, started his, hey man, and we were both just like, sorry man, can't help you. And he's like, oh, and he started like, oh, I bet you're sorry. And then Josh was like, oh, fuck you. And so eventually it escalated so that Josh was sort of screaming about this guy dying in the street. But he started it. Yeah.
Well, Josh can rest assured in the thought that he probably did.
Probably will. Yeah. I'm like, he's probably doing it right now.
You know what? Add that to my previous things that make me happy.
That's good.
Belligerent homeless dying in the streets. I enjoy that thought. That makes me feel good inside.
I'm glad I could add to your holiday spirit then.
Okay, so before we leave, I want to do one more quick story if I can. So the only time that I ever was involved in helping out like a homeless shelter was when I was really, really young, and my stepdad thought it would be a really great experience as a young Mormon man to, I was like 8 years old to be fair, to go to a homeless shelter and deliver a bunch of like old jackets and some food and stuff. And so, and this sticks in my head so vividly because it terrified me as a young kid. He said, stay close to me and scream if somebody touches you.
Oh God.
Like what they're just going to rape me? Like, why are we giving them food if they're going to rape me? Like I immediately in my head thought, I'm going to be somebody's bitch. Like in this home, and we're giving them things so that on the off chance that they don't fucking own my ass. What the fuck is happening? Like that. So that was my first experience with helping the homeless. So I have never done it since. They are all rapists in my mind of little boys, nonetheless.
Well, no wonder you hate Christmas. I don't know what that meant.
Makes sense now. It's so clear.
We could all trace it back to that one moment with your father.
Yeah. If only I was raped, then I wouldn't hate it so much.
Oh, look at you. See?
Silver linings.
Yep. Right.
So messed up. All right. Well, Aaron, that was amazing. I really love the holiday specials of Down at the Crossroads the most.
See, there's something about the holiday times that you like.
It's all you, baby. It's all you.
All right.
Well, where can the good folks go to? I know you mentioned earlier. Let's do it one last time. Go to find a little bit more about you and Down at the Crossroads online.
Yes, I'm on Facebook at Down at the Crossroads, and I'm on Twitter at ChelseaGirl19.
I highly recommend it. I say this every time, but I mean it. there's so much content that Erin shares in social media that she doesn't have the opportunity to share here. Music, artwork, just random news articles or whatever it is. You really would be doing yourself a favor. And certainly, you know, we only play a small clip of these songs. Do yourselves a favor, go to that Spotify playlist that she's going to be posting in social media, and you can hear the whole song for free. And it's really, really good stuff. So if you're like me and you just love the blues, if you're like Erin and you just die for the blues, this is your window into that world. Experience it for yourself. It's really, really wonderful. Erin, it's always amazing. Thank you so much.
Oh my God, it's my pleasure.
Well, until you and I can chat again, hopefully in the new year. Hail Satan.
Hail Satan.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the creature feature.
Welcome to another Creature Feature. Today I'm being joined by none other than David Ingram himself, the man behind Down Among the Dead Men, Lambert's Basement, Metal Breakfast Radio. Just like 7, 8 other projects in the works too, I'm sure. David, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. And thank you very much for having me on the show. It's always a pleasure. And you're one of the few people that I actually do interviews with live. I only ever do email interviews because I just don't trust anyone. But you, oh no, I trust impeccably.
Oh, yeah. Well, I appreciate it. It's always a really great back and forth whenever you're on, and I'm always impressed with your projects and stuff, so it's nice to let the good listeners know about them as well. Now, on the off chance that those listening aren't familiar, let's give a quick rundown on your background if we can. Where you started musically, how it was for you, what inspired you, and then we can jump forward to this newest album that's been released.
Okay. So where did it begin for me? Good grief. I was in one of those studio really horrible bands that was going to go absolutely nowhere. And living in the city of Birmingham in England, there was a lot of good musicians and a lot of very well-known bands. Mm-hmm. And I went out one evening to the local pub that we went to called the Costermongers, and sitting in there were the members of Benediction, and they all looked very downhearted and dejected. And I asked them, "What's the matter?" And they said, "Oh, we've just lost our singer. He's full-time in Napalm Death now. We need to find a new guy because we've got a tour coming up." And I said, "I'll do it." and they said, "Okay, come and do the audition." And I spent the next 4 days learning 4 or 5 of their songs. Went in and did it, and they had about 6 other people waiting outside. They just opened the door and said, "Now we've got him. Goodbye." and told me that day, like, "Yeah, the job's yours. You've got it."
Hell yeah.
So, what influenced me? It was bands like early Celtic Frost, pre-Cold Lake, the glam album that they did, but that sort of thing, and also Discharge, Black Sabbath, absolutely Black Sabbath. That was the first band I ever heard. The album Sabbath Bloody Sabbath I was 7 when I first heard that, good. And I just could not stop listening to it when I was 7 years old, and I knew that was where my music was gonna go. Mm-hmm. But that also the Clash. My first single I ever bought was Tommy Gun by the Clash.
Nice.
Yeah. And then the second one was Father Abraham and the Smurfs, which kind of says a lot about my musical career.
Yeah.
And that's the first time I've ever admitted that. And while I'm talking to you right now, you may not know, but I've just had a text message from Joe from Bolt Thrower. Mm-hmm. That's absolutely cool. I'll let her know that I was doing an interview when she sent it through.
Yeah.
I'm still close to those guys, and obviously Bolt Thrower, earlier this year they lost the drummer. He died.
That's terrible.
Yeah, he was 37 years old. And he was the drummer that played on the album that I performed on with Bolt Thrower, and yeah, it was devastating. It really was. But we're still very close. We're good friends.
That's great.
Yeah, sorry. Now, where was I? Where were we? I've had a couple of beers. So
I wanted to ask you a little bit about. You're you're well known in the genre, in the industry. Where do you think most of your notoriety comes from? Is it current projects or past projects?
I think at the moment it's past projects, but it's beginning to turn around with the new ones, because it's not just one band that I've got at the moment. There's two with releases out now, and there's a third one coming as well, which I can talk about in a little while. And there's a fourth one, which I can't actually talk about until there's an official announcement.
Yeah.
So there's a lot going on, and I think it's beginning to turn. And I think with this fourth announcement, when that finally comes out, it's going to help with the other three bands as well.
Hmm. Well, let's talk about one of the new ones here, Down Among the Dead Men. This project you've been involved in this project for 2 years now, has it been?
Since, I believe, 2013.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, two and a half, almost 3 years, I think.
So how did Down Among the Dead Men come together initially?
Well, the mastermind of death metal, who's in almost every band ever, Roger Johansson, who's a Swedish guy, and he wrote me and asked, "Would you like to be on this project album that I'm doing and singing one song?" And I said, "Yes, of course, I'd very much like to." And I listened to it and sang on it, and I thought, well, this is actually rather good. And I went and looked through his back catalogue and thought, yeah, I like this guy. So I asked him, would you be interested in doing a full album with a new project? And he said yes. He jumped at the chance, and we that's how Down Among the Dead Men was born. And what we did was he wrote he emailed the one record label and said, "I'm doing a new project. Are you interested in signing us?" And it was the German label, Cyclone Empire Records. And they said, "We're not sure." And then he said, "Well, Dave Ingram's involved, and he hasn't done anything since he left Bolt Thrower, really." Actually, I had, but he didn't know this at the time. And they immediately jumped on it and said, "Yes, we'll sign you." And they'd never even heard a note.
That's amazing.
We got a record contract without them hearing a note. They're German and they're very efficient, you know.
They are. It's a testament to your reputation, but your reputation is built on action, and I think that's just amazing that no notes heard, not one vocal stretch. It's just, oh, he's involved, let's do it. That's fantastic. Yeah. How was the first self-titled album received by those in the community, the death metal community?
Yeah, we had a lot of positive responses from it, and not to sort of force the issue, but the responses for the second album, the second full length, Exterminate, Annihilate, Destroy, have been even better.
Oh, that's great.
Have been even more positive. I think the worst review I've read has given us 7.5 out of 10. And that's exactly, quote unquote, worst, you know? Unbelievable.
That's great. So, I mean, after having had such success with the first album, I'm sure with everyone involved, did you go and tour and really stretch that out, or did you immediately hit the books and start working out the second album?
I love that tour. To me, that's so funny, because in the band there's myself, there's Roger, there's a guy called Dennis. Now, we don't actually have a full-time bass player in the band, so Roger and Dennis split the duties on there. And the drummer, Eric, he won't even commit to being in a band. He won't even have his photograph on the album. He just wants to do what he does and just, get paid in CDs. That's it. And the thing is, we've done 2 albums and a 7-inch EP. I've also done another album with Roger. I've never met them.
Oh, man.
It's all done across the internet.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And this is something that I find so weird, how bands, they set up these Kickstarter or GoFundMe campaigns so that they can make an album. the last two, the two Down Among the Dead Men albums, and the third album I did, Echelon, which we can get to in a little while. It cost, I think, in total about $100, and that's just for paying for the artwork. Because Roger himself and I have the setup. I'm using it right now to record here. So we don't need fancy studios. And if you listen to the album, it sounds good. So you don't need these big campaigns to get money. I never understand why bands have to do that.
Well, I mean, it might be an experience, you know. They're expecting to have this sort of rock and roll lifestyle dream of, you know, going to a professional studio rather than a completely capable personal studio.
Yeah, I can get that, but it's never interested me, the whole fame and getting out of a limo and rubbish.
Now, you did tour with Bolthrow, right?
Oh, yeah. We had some really dodgy vehicles, but yeah, it was fun. We toured a lot, and also with Benediction. That's why I'm living in Copenhagen.
Yeah.
We were touring with Benediction in 1995, and at the gig I saw this very attractive, beautiful, gorgeous woman, and then I met my wife.
Nice. That's fantastic. So that experience from going on tour and playing live, when did it turn, do you think, to purely online construction of these amazing albums?
It's for me, for my own timeline, I would say, that would have begun back in 2008, and I was doing a lot of guest spots for bands, and then I began to want to do more, but Metal Breakfast Radio took over. And we were doing an hour show every week, and then it became an hour and a half, and now it's almost up to 2 hours. So the whole online musical deal was, it's taken off more within the last 3 years, I would say, for me.
Wow. Yeah. So what I want to do is play the track Warriors of the Deep for the audience from the new album of Down Among the Dead Men, Exterminate, Annihilate, and Destroy in just a minute. Before we get to that, when you created this latest album, concepting it, how did that go? What does the title mean? What was your inspiration for this album?
2 words: Doctor Who.
I could have guessed.
Yeah, every song, even the band name, even the first album, it's all related indirectly to Doctor Who. I am such a huge fan. It's not a secret that I'm a fan of the show,
right?
But it was, and I've never actually put in previous bands, in Bolt Thrower or in Benediction or anything else that I've done. I've never done any sort of reference to Doctor Who. I've never wanted to, and I wanted a project that I would begin, that it would be me in control, and Down Among the Dead Men was it. So this album, yes, it's very much classic Doctor Who, and also modern as well.
Wow. Well, let's put a pin in that, because I want to ask you a couple questions about that. Let's hear the track Warriors of the Deep, and on the other side, we'll come back with David Ingram and talk a little bit about Doctor Who and Down Among the Dead Men.
Absolutely.
The
Okay, so that was Warriors of the Deep. Holy shit. This stuff is really great. I'm having a hard time in my head from what I know about Doctor Who, a comedic sci-fi adventure series, and rationalizing it with death metal, which traditionally people see as dark and mysterious and evil, and so how does that, is there any conflict in your head at all with that?
None whatsoever. To me, it goes hand in hand because it's two things that I love. Yeah. So I don't see any clash in the feel to the songs, or they can still be dark. I mean, if you any Doctor Who fan will know that the series, the stories can be so dark and desperate and emotional, as well as being upbeat on another note, and funny, and as you say, comedic. There's definitely every sort of every emotion is touched on within the show. I find, and I love that. I really do.
It's fantastic. So this, we talked about how you used to perform live and made this transition to only compiling these albums via the internet. Do you prefer it that way? Do you feel like you can get more done faster, or do you prefer the studio collective, like everyone in the same studio at the same time approach?
I think, no, you've hit the nail right on the head there, sir. You really have, because yes, it can be done a lot faster. For example, Roger and I, we were talking backwards and forwards. I was recording the vocals for the Exterminate, Annihilate, Destroy. I think from now on I should say EAD, just to save time.
Yeah.
But we were doing the EAD album, and it was finished except for one song, which was a cover version of an Anvil song, Forged in Fire. Slightly different, or in fact, actually, no, completely bloody different to what we were doing with the rest of the album.
Right.
So we'd done that, and Roger said, I'm quite interested in this style. I've got some songs that I've not used that are somewhat similar. How would you feel about doing another project? And that was the band. It became Echelon. And the album is called, let me just see, hang on, it's a long title, Indulgence Over Abstinence Behind the Obsidian Veil.
Wow.
That's the album title. The lyrics are Satanic, in essence. Mm-hmm. And
so
I'm very
Roger
proud of these lyrics.
A Satanist as well?
No, not at all.
Okay.
That's all. I asked him about it. I expressed my desire for the lyrics, and he said he doesn't mind. He's atheist, so which is a good start.
Nice, yeah. It's not bad.
But that album actually was written and recorded and fully done and sent to the other label that it's out on within 2 weeks.
Whoa!
Yeah. And right now I'm actually writing music for a third project called Ursine. That's Ursine. It's a very old Scandinavian word for an active yet very angry mind.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
It's an old Viking word. I wanted something, because I live in Scandinavia, and Denmark has adopted me, so I wanted to sort of have it a little Scandinavian. And the chap that I'm working with, he's from Sweden, although he lives in England at the moment.
Right.
Wow. And so that's another project that's on the go. And we're doing a couple of cover versions on there as well, and I can't wait to do those.
Well, do you mind if I ask, because you're involved in so many different projects at once, do you ever have a difficulty making each separately, like making them feel different, or do they all sort of have the same tone?
I think the vocal-wise, there's the similarity there, because it's me.
Yeah.
But musically, they are different. Let's see. Down Among the Dead Men is a D-beat punk like Discharge. The Echelon, that's more of a slower death metal. A lot of people have been comparing it to the Benediction album that I did, Transcend the Rubicon, which I'm quite proud of.
Oh, wow.
And the band Sinner, this other new project I'm doing, it's very Swedish. I'm actually promoting it as being more Swedish than Sweden.
A double dose of Sweden.
Yeah, exactly. Get your meatballs here.
Nice. Well, that's good. I know, just me personally, I find it challenging to really create strong differentiation between different projects that I'm involved in, and so it's nice that going in that you already have that taken care of. And it's one thing to be involved in a bunch of different projects and have them sort of be the David Ingram show, like all of these, but
yeah, exactly.
To have them stand on their own, I think, is the goal in the end for everyone, and saying that you're doing that is just fantastic. Well, David, thank you so much for coming on and talking with me. I really appreciate it. Your music is amazing. I mean, just you're a massive talent. Can you let the good folks listening know where they can find all of those 3 projects that you've been working on and other things that you're involved in?
Well, let me see. Facebook. If you go to Facebook and search on Down Among the Dead Men, you'll find that there's a lot of links to what's it called? SoundCloud? No, I can't remember. I think. SoundCloud. Okay, yeah. I'm an old dinosaur. I use vinyl. Come on.
Yeah. In my day, there was no inner tubes.
That's the one. Yeah, exactly. But also with the band Echelon, you can find us on Facebook as well. Again, more links to that SoundCloudy place. And the new band, Sinner, not out yet, but there will be stuff there eventually. And also don't forget metalbreakfastradio.com.
Hell yeah. All right. Well, again, thank you so much. I'm looking forward to the newest album, and I'm enjoying the current ones. Until we can chat again, my friend. Hail Satan.
Hail Satan. Thank you, sir.
All right, people, that's going to do it for yet another show. I do hope you enjoyed it, and I would love to hear from you. Visit the website 9sensepodcast.com and send your correspondence to info@9sensepodcast.com. Let me know of any suggestions, critiques, corrections, or general comments you might have. You can visit us in social media, Satanet, Facebook, Google+, Twitter, MySpace, and you'll get updated on weekly topics, but also contests or other Satanist projects that we think are worthwhile. We'll share them there as well. You can download the show Mondays via the RSS feed found on 9sensepodcast.com. We're also on Last.fm, Stitcher, iTunes, YouTube, wherever you find us, however you get us, however you tune in. If you can, give us a rating or comment. We appreciate it, but more importantly, it helps us rise to the top and spread the word. And of course, if you'd like to learn more about Satanism or the Church of Satan, visit churchofsatan.com, read the Satanic Bible and the Satanic Scriptures. You're only doing yourself a solid by doing so. Remember, the only way we're going to continue this is if you share it. Help spread the word, people. Once again, thank you for joining me. As always, I'm your host, Adam Campbell. And until next week, hail Satan!